this video is yeah, and help you guys out as best I can.
Right, good morning everyone. Hope everybody is there. Happy New Year. Hey Ryan. Let me know if you're on the chat. I've just opened the chat window, but to be fair, can't actually see if anybody's on, to be fair. Participants. No, is it just Ryan? Is that it? Fair enough. I know Gavin's just started a stream, so probably everybody's watching him, aren't they? Hey Willie, if you're still there. Why has it got a frame rate counter in the thing? Yeah, bollocks. Oh well, the banner's got the frame rate thing. I don't know why it's got that. Doesn't matter. Need to change that somehow. And if I can change that now. Browser. Still good, Willie. Good stuff. There's the frame rate counter thing. That needs to go. Oh, I've just deleted it completely now. Not available. Let's try that again. Bear with me, which is I'm trying to set things up again. It's been a while, it's been a few weeks. Still got this flipping cold thing, this winter cold everybody's got. Which is a bit of a pain in the arse, but there we go. Slowly getting rid of it. Monarch 240. Right, that seems to have disappeared. Good. Hey Bruno, how you doing? Right, well, let's get everything down. So what time are we supposed to go? We're supposed to go at 10:30, 11:15 Zulu is the schedule. So that's the plan. So a relatively normal flight today, although we do have one major issue, which if I can get the flight plan up, if I get the right one. Or this one. So yeah, here's the flight plan. So nothing too untoward on it. Gatwick's, Salzburg, all pretty good, but we can still hear remarks MEL 491001. What does that mean? Well, that's the APU. So unfortunately, we've got an aircraft that doesn't have a working APU. Just enough food to feed the 5,000. No, it's good. Yeah, I know. I've still got half a ton of cheese in the fridge. So yeah, we haven't got an APU. So I only discovered this the other day. Me and Gav were talking about it, going, "Oh, you know, can you start the engines up without the APU?" I mean, you can in real life because you use something called an air starter unit, which is parked outside the aircraft. It's very, very similar to this, really, like the external ground power thing. It's sort of similar to that, a bit bigger, and it usually gets parked in front of one of the engines, and it plugs into the aircraft, and it provides enough bleed pressure to start the engines, because obviously the APU isn't there to do that. So yeah, you can do it, and I was sort of asking Gav, saying, "Oh, is this possible?" And we were sort of scratching our heads, didn't really know if it was. And then somebody did say on one of his chats, is the MEL code generic across the industry? No, that is the MEL for the MEL. That's the number for the APU, Bruno. So yeah, that will be it across every airline, because that's what's called an ATA number. I can't remember what that stands for, but yeah, that's 49 is the APU. 10 is the piece, and 1 is sort of the what's wrong, and then A is something else. I'll come back to it. I'll show you the MEL in a second, or a screenshot of it. So Is that a Huffer thing? Yes, Willie. So yeah, we were discussing it, going, can we do this? And yeah, some very kind sir on his stream said, oh, you can. It's in the options. And so I had a little bit of a play of it, and I realised it was there. Now it's a little bit stealthy because it's not obvious when you look at the EFB and you put the ground services on. We've got GPU, ground power unit, PCA, and that's passenger conditioned air. So that's not an air starter. That's air conditioned from like the jetway. Chocks. So let's start getting all this ready as well. Doors. But there's nothing here to say an external air starter unit. Annoyingly, so I wasn't too sure it was there, but it is there because it's in the actual options in the MacDo. So if we look in, where are we? Not that one. Maintenance. So ground services. Excuse me. We can see here ground air. So really subtle. But this will provide then the bleed air. You can see the pressure here is 0, but this will provide bleed air that then actually starts the engines itself. So yeah, really subtle thing, but it is actually there, fortunately. So it is something that we can do, which is really good. So I thought, well, let's have a look, see what we can do on this, because I had a quick look on YouTube, and I thought, are there actually any videos on this? There is an older video, I think, that sort of describes it, but it's not Fenix, and it's not Microsoft Flight Sim. It might be pre-3D or something. And it sort of kind of goes through. It doesn't really. I had a quick look at it, but it's not quite exactly what you should do in terms of the operation procedure. So I thought, okay, there's no actual video on really how to do this, in the sim. Now, you'd have to sort of argue, really, would you really give yourself this as a failure to deal with manually? I mean, I have. If you look at the failures, if you look at the manual failures, I've actually failed the APU. In fact, it's just low level. Let's just clear that. Hopefully that's done. So we're basically deselecting the APU. So normally, if this is an MEO item as well, and it doesn't work, there'd be an in-op sticker on the APU. We can't actually put that on there, but be an inoperative sticker up here as well. So yeah, you might not necessarily give this to you. To fail, to practice it. I mean, you might do if you want to practice these sort of things. But don't forget, the Fenix obviously has these random failures set up. So, you could have random failures on with realistic and all, and you never know if when you're taxing in, the APU may fail to start. And equally, if you're doing a 2-sector day or something, multiple flights, then you have to deal with the fact that the APU doesn't start. So yeah, I thought this would be quite an interesting video on how to do it. And initially I was just going to do a video on what to do, and just sort of run through the procedures, etc, and just sort of upload a video on just how to do that without doing on like the entire flight, because you don't really need to do the entire flight to sort of understand what's going on. But then I've got to edit it and put it all together and everything, and I thought I can't really be asked to do that, so I might as well just do it in the stream, because it's a little bit easier just to do everything as we go. So I thought that's what I'm going to do. So that'll be it. So we will discuss the APU. I will discuss that as we go. I think the first important thing is let's just set everything up. Let's get going, just so we are ready to discuss and sort of push on time, which is about 35 minutes time. So I load all this, and then we can start loading passengers, etc, etc. Get GCX on. There we go, that's done. Annoying, I can't see how many people are actually in the chat, I don't know, but a few people mainly. Is it in there? Nope. Yeah, I've got no idea how many are actually in the chat, but it doesn't matter. Right, there's the flight plan. Let's just get look at the charts. It's quite good as well. I think ATC are online at the minute. Yes, they are. ATC are quite important for this, just in respects to sort of what we do for clearances. So yeah, it's quite good that they're on. What way are we going? What's the flight plan? Info 1 mic. Ew. parking stands, need that one. There's the airport chart. Is here somewhere? That one. Minfo, right, that way rounds. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So 4,000's the start. This is a conversation yesterday, wasn't it, on Discord? What the stop altitude was. Let's have a quick look at the weathers. So Natus, good. Sorry, Echo. It's 0950, it's a bit out of date, isn't it? So 26 left, 210 at 5. 10 kilometers good, bit of clouds, 11 degrees. 1000s. Yeah, might have anti-ice on for that one. QH1020. 21 even. Uh, 1021. Cool. Let's get this loaded. So it doesn't take very long to load the FMGC. Cost index, sorry, 12, I think it is. Yeah. Wind, request that. 11 degrees. Drop of pause is 4/8, 3/8, 412. 0 fuel weight is 60 tons. We need about a ton to get to. Yeah, about a ton to get to Munich. Good, that's done. Gatwick departure, 26 left. Info on mic. Probably expecting the RLS on runway 15 down in. Oh, it's got 3-3. Why has it got 3-3? What is the wind doing in? That concerns me. Arrival. I was expecting it to be sort of southeasterlies. Oh, 270, 1130 gusting. Oh, nice. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, not a very particularly good day down in Salzburg. Right, so we might have the RNAV onto 3-3 potentially. Okay. Okay, well, let's put the RNAV in. I think it's that one. Was it Barrett to Romeo? We can amend this if we need to. Good, that's done. What's the distance? 630 miles. A little bit less than flight plan, but that's okay. Info Dover, Conan, Coxie, Matter, Gubax, Borat, Armets, Arbax, Ostes, Barrett, good, yeah, that looks pretty good. Leave that. GKK, 26 left. Perfect, come back to fuel, come back to. Right, let's have a quick look and see what it says off the fuel planning. Right, so it thinks about 6.8 for the fuel. What do we got on the flight plan? Now, interestingly, because this is a ski flight, I've updated the passenger weights a little bit on SimBrief just to make the payload maybe a little bit more sensible. So yeah, 16 tons, pretty good. It's not a lot of underload there, so we couldn't get many more skis or passengers on board. So it's only about a ton. But in terms of fuel, the figure we can look down here is extra. It says 3.8 tons, so we can actually take off we can get another 3.8 tons of fuel on if we really needed to. Because zero fuel weight is limited, but we're well below max takeoff weight or max landing weights in both of these. So yeah, if we took another 3.8 tons, we would basically be on landing weight limitations. So I'm tempted with that weather, possibly maybe just to have a little bit more. So 29014 gusting 427. So yeah, it's going to be quite sporty down there, I think. It's not going to be the nicest day. Light rain, scattered clouds. Visibility is looking good. I think the main thing is just becoming visual. So I might have to grab a quick look at the charts in a second, just make sure what the minimums are. In fact, let's have a quick look at that now, just so we're not doing anything stupid. Salzburg, it's arrival, approach. So it looks like it's going to be the RNAV approach. RMP Zulu, I think this is the one. No, it's not that one, that's the RMP AR. RMP visual, there we go. So it's an RMP visual approach. So effectively we can do this, go down to Whiskey Sierra 835, and then we have to be visual to do this. Now we should be able to leave this in managed nav if the flight plan's all correct. But what's the MDA? Interesting. So the MDA is 4,000, which is 2,500 feet above the airfield. What was the weather? Scattered. Oh, scattered at 4.5. That's yeah, that's doable. What was the TAF? Scattered. Tempo. This is the time we're sort of coming in. Light rain. Scattered at 11. Broken at 2,000. So that's what's going to really screw me up. If it's broken at 2,000, I'm not going to get visual. I potentially might be able to land with a tailwind. Okay, this is going to be a really interesting one, because I'm not too sure we're going to be able to get in that easily. What's the other options? So of course, technically we can't do the RMP AR yet, 'cause it's not proved to do that. Circling for 3-3, potentially might be able to do that if that's lower minimum. Yeah. So we might have to do this. Oh, we might have to do a circling approach. Or we might have to do the old-fashioned one. Oh, this is exciting. Okay, this could be a really interesting one. We might have to do the circling. We can go down to, what's that, just 1,200 feet above the runway. 3,700 meters. I think we had that. I think we had the minimums. What do we need for the planning minimum? For a circling approach. Right, let me have a quick look at where's my manuals, because when it's a circling approach you've got to take the cloud base into consideration as well. Oh, this is making me think, this one. I thought it's going to be a nice easy stream, and it's not. So much to think about. Where's OM8? There we go. Ops procedures. Where is it? Methods for determining that, I think. Maybe not, I can't see anything in there. Okay. Yeah, this could be interesting. The two figures, what are the differences? What two figures? Right, I have to be more specific, there's lots of two. MDA and MDH. MDA, where are I? MDA. So MDA is the minimum decision altitude, so this is all based off the barometric altitude. So the minimum decision altitude for CAT-C is 2,610. that is 2,610 on the barometric altitude, so tick 2,610, which would be in this little sort of box here. The MDH is the minimum decision height, and what's in parentheses here in the brackets, that's the height above the ground. So 2,610 equals 1,199 feet above the ground. So that would be above the there. I mean, you know, it's a little bit kind of, you know, vague, because of course it's not going to be 1,200 feet across the ground for that entire track, because there's going to be hills and, you know, buildings and all sorts of things, so that, you know, the actual height above something, the obstacles, is going to be going up and down all the time. So but, you know, because we're operating to an MDA, oh fucking hell, what are you doing? Because we're always operating to a decision altitude, we're always referencing you know, the large boulder figures. Right, okay, well, in that respect, because there's lots to possibly consider down there and we may not be able to get in, that was alternates like 5,000 metres, so that's Cat 1, good, that's windy as well. Range, good, fog later on tomorrow, that's fine. Gosh, windy, it's windy everywhere, isn't it? Oh, this is going to be interesting. Windy. Gusting 40 knots, oh Christ. I don't really want to go to Vienna. Prague is windy as well. Oh, God. Zurich's not too bad. It's a bit wind. Well, Munich's not too bad. I think Munich's good. Straight down the strip if we go that way. Right, well, let's just stick with Munich as the alternate. What's in the NOTAMs and the en route stuff? Lots of mess and ice and stuff around there. Yeah, fine. Usual. NOTAMs, Gatwick, Juliet from Tango. Juliet close from Juliet 5. Okay. I don't think that's going to affect us. That's fine. Salzburg, seasonal chemical de-icing on the runway. Yeah. Munich. Now we've got to get them on board, haven't we? Right, let's see if we can get GSX on. Right.
Refueling truck is on its way.
And how much do we want?
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Not much I can see in there. I don't think there's nothing going to stop us. Right, in terms of fuel, so let's have a look. So about 6 tons, and we can get another 3.8. I'm gonna go another 2 tons. I think that just gives us enough for another go, and enough for a diversion as well if we go to Munich. So I'm gonna go 8 tons. I think we can get that. That's fine. So let's do 8 tons. In a real situation on the ground and knew you couldn't get in towards the airport, would you reschedule a flight? If it was obvious we weren't going to get in, Ryan, yeah, you wouldn't. You'd probably sort of ring ops and just go, it's probably not going to happen, and you would probably just delay it. But it's not. It's on that. It's on that sort of situation. All right, let's see if I can load you.
Please don't load aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Right, I want the passengers on. Right, I think you're sorting that out. It's all a bit... Yeah, frame rates aren't perfect, are they? Where's my stairs? Are they there?
Please use your airplane fuel system to set the desired fuel quantity.
Ah, there we go, we've got Jesse, perfect. Alright, well, that's in the fuel. Yeah, it's, technically people are coming on. Press boarding.
Boarding requested.
Yeah. Trying to work my way out on this. Good. Well, that would do. I'm just going to leave that. So yeah, this is a bit of an awkward one, Ryan. So, you know, technically we can go. you know, because the minimums, there is an approach we can do where the cloud base is above the minimums and the weather's above the minimums. So, you know, technically, legally, we can shoot the approach. So, there's my thingy. There it is. So, yeah, the weather's, the visibility's good. That's not looking like it's going to drop at all. But this broken at 2,000 feet, you know, that's we have to sort of take that into consideration for circling approach. Certainly, scattered you don't, because it's scattered clouds, but broken you do. So few and scattered you don't really need to worry about, but broken and overcast is going to be a cloud base. So yeah, you need to sort of take this into consideration. But that is above the minimums for one of the approaches we can do. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. We can possibly do an RNAV, but it's an RNAV visual, and to do the RNAV visual, you do have to be visual. Let's just get that and that one. So yeah, if you're going to do the RNAV visual, you do have to be visual at this point, Whiskey Sierra 835. But Whiskey Sierra 835, we're going to be down to our minimums of 4,000 feet, which is 2,500 feet above the ground, but it's going to be broken at 2,000, so still technically we might be 500 feet in cloud here, with the cloud base 500 feet below us. So if we're not visual at this point, we would have to go around, break off the approach, and maybe do something again. So that's why I'm taking a little bit of extra fuel, because I don't think we're going to be able to do this. But equally, we should be able to do this approach here. Now, the other thing we can probably do is we might even be able to land on runway 15. So let's just have a quick look at the performance for that. Runway 15 is probably going to be good. Apply the meter. Yeah, disregard the gusts. Landing weight, what's our landing weight going to be? So it's going to be about another couple of tons on that. Let's go 64.5, because it's not going to be any worse than that, I don't think. 64.5. Let's go. Full flap. Yeah, so low auto brake. But it's only a 5-knot tailwind. So yeah, there we go. So 5-knot tailwinds, we can do that. Medium order brake, idle reverse, manual landings. There we go. So that's fine. Even if it was 3, max reverse. Let's go max manual. Yeah, so even max manual potentially on medium, we could do that. Good. So I'm happy with that. That's good. Fine. Right. So how are we doing? So that's all done. Fueling hasn't quite got there yet. I think most of this is done. So we said 8 tons. That's going in. So yeah, a bit of extra fuel down the other end. To AUC. Let's have a quick look at the load sheet. So zero fuel weight is, what's that? 60 tons. Yeah. Slash 30.9. Right, takeoff trim is, what's that, 29? It's going to be about 29% for the takeoff trim. Let's have a quick look at the performance. Right, this is where I think it is dry, isn't it? Yeah, it's dry. 26 left. Config 1, no Tega. I will put anti-ice on. Packs off. Takeoff weight, what are we going to be? 67.8. 29%. That's the wind. I think the intersection 2897, I think that's a bit incorrect. So Fenix need to update their database on that one. Charts. So yeah, 2891. So I might go alpha, which is 3146. There we go. So that's a little bit less than what the chart says. Good. So it's alpha figures. 148, 149, 151. Flaps 1. What's the flex? 57 degrees. Secondary haven't done. Nope. Ah, come on. Yeah. Complete brain fart. 26 left. 260. There we go. Done. 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 So the problem with this is that you can't get the tactile feedback. You don't know if you've pressed it twice. There we go. 26 left, 26. Good, that's done, that's done. 1021. What was the winds? Was it 238, 12 degrees. It's actually gone up in temperature. Done. Good. Right, let's have a quick look at this MEL then, since that's kind of relevant. So, hopefully you'll be able to see this. Right, MEL, there we go. So, there we go, this is the MEL for the APU. So you can see 491001. So the APU is not operative. A just means it's just the first line, effectively. So repair interval C, so this is valid to be inoperative for 10 days. Number installed 1, because we've only got one of them. Don't need it. Does need to be placarded. So normally it would be placarded up here as inop, but it's not. So let's never mind. So maybe it's inoperative, and then it refers to the ops procedures. So there's an ops procedure that we need to do. So we'll grab that. Ops procedure. So here's the ops procedure. Power plants. During the preliminary cockpit preparation, do not use the APU, which we've not. APU master switch to off, it is off. No APU bleed air will be available for main engine start or air conditioning, well, we know that. No electrical power will be available from the APU generator, fair enough. So before pushback or engine start, refer to the engine start without APU. Engine start with an air starter unit, we'll look at that in a second. And then after landing at the gate, in absence of suitable ground, support equipment destination engine opposite to the refueling point will need to be operated during the refueling to ensure continued availability of bleed air and electrical power for engine starting. Now, this is referring to an operation procedure, refueling one engine running. Now, I still don't think I've yet to meet a captain, including myself, that would ever do this ops procedure where you'd refuel the aircraft with an engine running, because it's just, there's so many potential issues with it, certainly if you have passengers aboard. So this is where we now need to sort of look at sort of a decision-making point. If we had an aircraft without an APU, you'd have to look on whether it's suitable for the flight itself. So you need to look, you know, do you have an air starter unit down route where you're going? Because if you do, that's great, at least you can start the engine. But if you're going somewhere that doesn't have an air starter unit, then, you know, there's potential that you don't want to take the aircraft, because then you can't start the other engine, or both engines, when you're down at your destination. So, you know, you probably wouldn't take it in that respect. Also, you know, depending on how hot it is, if you're going to, I don't know, Turkey or Egypt in the height of summer and it's like 35, 40 degrees Celsius, you know, are you going to take an aircraft without an APU? You know, quite possibly not, because it's not good for the passengers. You know, you don't have any air conditioning, it's not good for the comfort or anything else. So, you know, there's a good chance you probably won't take an aircraft in the summer to a really, really hot place if you don't have an APU. But, you know, in many instances you can. So, you know, depending on the weather and everything else, and we know in Salzburg We don't need it. It's not part. It's not like Innsbruck where really you do need an APU. But the temperature's only 12 degrees. It's 12 degrees in Gatwick as well, so it's relatively calm. Nice sort of cool temperatures. So there's no problem. You don't really need the APU because the cabin isn't going to get too hot. It's 23 at the minute, but that's pretty comfortable. So you don't need the APU down route. And equally, it's fine where we are. So, I'm quite happy to take an aircraft and an APU in this situation because, we don't really need it, and it's not too hot where we're going either. But there will be instances where you don't want to take it. Anyway, so the ops procedure referred to this other operational procedure, engine start with an air starter unit. So this is the next thing that we're going to have a look at. So when we actually need to start the APU, what do we need to do? Sorry, when we need to start the engine, what do we need to do? So here we go, we've got the procedure, engine start of an air starter unit and crossbleed start. And this is 2 pages, this goes on to another page in a second, which I'll show you. So it says engine start of an air starter unit, and then there's a few warnings and notes, etc. So just read through it before you've actually got to do it. It says, although engine 1 is normally started first, either engine may be started first. Check the brake accumulator pressure prior to engine start. We can see the brake accumulator pressure down there, and that's all fine. Now, those of you that know, depending on certain airlines, and operational procedures, some airlines start engine 1 first, some airlines start number 2 first. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, if you're doing 2 engines. But in this case, it will make a difference. And the reason why it makes a difference is because of where the air starter unit is located. So you can see here we've got